You are on India Today podcasts and you are in the Sledging Room. Right? Phone surrendered, sound check done.
Yeah.
You have to give your phone up for every podcast now.
Yeah, Raj.
Because of one mistake.
Producer has made it mandatory.
Unforgiving she is, relentless.
Relentless.
She just lays out a hand like this, phone.
Yeah.
Before you start the Sledging Room, I want your phone. So now you don't have access to your fake data.
I don't have access to my phone. I don't have access to a water bottle on this Sledging Room. Tell me.
You have to be an outside.
Yeah. Exactly.
Much like outside noise.
Exactly.
You have to make some outside noise.
Outside noise to get some water, I think.
Genuine, seriously,
Yeah.
you can't
No.
get water.
I asked our producer also. The reply was outsiders will only
So
get
you can always walk down the passage and get yourself a glass of water.
Of course.
Why are you being so lame today? No phone, no
Yes.
water.
But yeah, Raj,
Yeah.
we are going to discuss whether things have to change when it comes
You have to change. Stop complaining and cribbing.
we're
all
not,
the time.
for our listeners' reference, we are not talking about a Sledging Room now. We're talking about Indian
No,
cricket.
even for the Sledging Room, you have to stop
Yeah.
criticizing
Yeah.
Anna for not giving you water,
Yeah.
for taking your phone away. You have to stop criticizing the Indian cricket team also.
Yeah.
Superstars.
Yeah.
Did Andy Roberts say somewhere that the Indian cricket team showed a lot of arrogance? That
Yeah.
arrogance is creeping into this team.
Yeah.
Why?
What do you make of that statement, Raj? As in a legendary West Indies fast bowler who has played the sport we know the passion with which that West Indies team played. And when they see something like this, an Indian cricket team not living up to its expectation, are they being, disappointed? Or what is that? What does that statement mean?
No, it is. Look, the fact is that these guys, they don't want to take criticism. And we've discussed that at length on one of the previous episodes on the Sledging Room.
Yeah.
They talk of outside noise. They talk of unfair criticism.
Yeah.
They put out Instagram stories. Then they go around telling press conferences. I mean, at least this one former captain who said this is the best Indian team in next 6 years. I think what it also does is I not that I have spoken to particular members of those previous test teams, but I'm sure it could tick off former cricketers as well. What on earth? We also went and drew a test series against one of the most dangerous Australian teams ever. We won series in West Indies when the West Indies team was far better than what they are now. We've won series in England when at a time when not a lot of subcontinental teams would do that. You went and that team also went and won a test series in Pakistan, right, against a very, very dangerous Pakistan bowling lineup.
Yeah.
So you don't say all that. I think that's, all of that encompassed into the same old way of preparing for mega tournaments, not winning mega tournaments for the last 10 years. I mean, if you want to be considered among the best in the world, you have to start winning these tournaments. But that's exactly why we are here today, right?
Yeah.
What next now? Because there's also a report which says Rohit Sharma could travel. I mean, remember, this is on the back of what we discussed in our previous episode on the Sledging Room, whether Rohit Sharma would or should travel to the West Indies.
Yeah.
And now there are some media reports suggesting Rohit might.
Yeah.
But if he doesn't do well, he might then take a call on his test captaincy. But Akshay, before I lay out to you, this is for our viewers and for our listeners. Rohit Sharma, not getting any younger. Cheteshwar Pujara, Virat Kohli, Ajinkya Rahane, who's made a good comeback.
Yeah.
Are we also now in that cycle, the third cycle of the World Test Championship? Will this third cycle of the World Test Championship also see Indian cricket fishing for a new test captain?
Yeah. I still remember, Raj, that 2012, 2013, 2014 phase where results did not go India's way in overseas tours. That we should have also looked at it like, that was also the start of a transition phase from the Rahul Dravids, from the Sachin Tendulkars, from the VVS Lakshmans, to the Ajinkya Rahanes, to the Virat Kohlis, and to Pujaras. So we might see a similar transition phase between 2023-2025. And like we said in the last episode, if you're going to start a transition, at least back then, there was no cycle, right? There was no World Test Championship cycle. There was lesser context to test matches being played across the world. But in this cycle, you're playing for something, you're playing for a mace, you're playing for the Test Championship title, you're playing for the Test mace. So if the transition has to happen, can you let it happen after 1 year into the Test cycle?
That's exactly what my concern is as well. I mean, you look at the T20 transition, obviously that's one tournament and then 2 years down the line, you'll get another one.
Yeah.
I think the T20 transition has started.
Yeah.
Rohit, Virat and the others, a couple of these senior batters haven't announced their retirement from the T20 format. They're pretty much available for T20 cricket, but it's Hardik Pandya's team.
Exactly. Yeah.
The likes of Ruturaj Gaikwad, Ishan Kishan will get a long run.
Yeah.
Who knows, maybe Yashasvi Jaiswal, since he was called as backup in the test championship final, you might see a lot of him as well.
Yeah.
You might see some all-rounders who've done well in the IPL coming up the ranks. You might suddenly see a Shivam Dubey for all you know.
Yeah.
My problem is with the test team now.
Yeah. Do we have enough backups?
Do we? Maybe, again, like we discussed, it could be transitional. You could maybe see one batter getting slotted in somewhere gradually. The problem is that the West Indies tour probably is the ideal place to start.
Yes. And would you have a new captain? I would want to ask.
For West Indies, I think unless Rohit Sharma decides to not go, I don't think you will. Because it's an ODI World Cup year. Yeah. You'll also want to see Rohit Sharma leading the ODI team there. Yeah. And are you telling me then that Rohit Sharma will schedule next to each other? Yeah. And are you telling me that Rohit Sharma will only travel to the West Indies to play 3 ODIs? I don't think so. So he will be part of the test as well as the ODI teams. Yeah. But in an ideal world, yes, you could have probably looked at a couple of new faces. You're talking of Ashwin as well. I mean, he's not getting any younger. He's 36. By the time the final, if India reach the final, a lot of these players will be 36, 37, 38.
And I don't think Virat Kohli is someone who would want to take back the captaincy, right?
I mean, that would not be...
There was a chance for him at the 2021 rescheduled test, right?
2022, when they played in 2022.
Yes.
But I mean, who knows? Rahane, right, as an interim stopgap arrangement. If Rohit does not want to play beyond this year or maybe beyond the West Indies tour, because that is also a problem that you can deal with in the long term. You're playing the West Indies in those 2 test matches, then you're playing ODIs and T20Is, and then you come to the Asia Cup. Then by the time you come to the World Cup. It's mostly one-day cricket, and then you travel to South Africa towards the end of the year. Again,
for close to 5-4 months, we don't have any.
There's no test cricket, so you're again going to have to take a call there. But will you send a new captain to South Africa? So that's also doesn't quite sound very logical. Yeah. I think over the course of the next 1 year or thereabout, you will have to sift your way through, because Rohit Sharma's fitness is a question. Rohit Sharma's, it sometimes might seem funny to be calling these from the outside, calling these things from the outside, but is Rohit Sharma looking motivated enough to play test cricket? Apart from that 100 against Australia in the first test, on a tricky pitch, undoubtedly, he's not done much. Yeah. He's not done much. His captaincy has been way off. Yeah. And there is a general feeling that, look, under Rohit and Dravid, the Indian test team has lost that zing that you saw under Kohli and Shastri.
Yeah. So, but I want to ask you this. At the start of the podcast, you were saying that the criticism, the arrogance, you were referring to that comment from former cricketer. But then if you see that Rahul Dravid going to the press conference and saying that we are not under pressure to win ICC titles, then we are criticizing them. So how do you want them to
when Kapil Dev said that line, where what else are we here for? When a journalist in England asked him about the 83 World Cup, he said, are you here to win the World Cup? And he said, what else are we here for? That was an arrogance, right? That was quiet confidence. Yeah. Yes, I think that under Kohli, he did overstep the line a little bit in certain times. And Rahul Dravid himself, remember, once he said that some of the things that Kohli said made him cringe before a series. And to put everything in context, he said, that's fine. It works for certain players. As a new generation, Dravid didn't say it in a critical way. Yeah. But yes, there was certain level of arrogance. Yeah. Look, if you want to be arrogant in the field, I remember this very famous cricketer many years back had said, if you want to be successful, it's okay to be arrogant. It's okay to show some level of arrogance. Yeah. But when that arrogance breaches a certain code, I think that's when you start getting problems. Arrogance in the sense where, you suddenly start comparing yourself to previous Indian teams, which were also star-studded with legends, right? Yeah. That for me is mind-numbing arrogance. Arrogance for me is, not listening to even your former coaches and former captains when they say that, look, this is outside noise.
The same Ravi Shastri, when he spoke about it, I think I think Rohit Sharma, if I'm not mistaken, said that we don't listen to people who are not part of the dressing room. And he was part of the dressing room a couple of years back.
Clearly, did they even listen to him?
I don't know.
Ravi Shastri is a very respected figure.
You would want a fine balance between Kohli approach and maybe Rohit's approach?
No, I don't want any balance with Rohit Sharma's approach right now. The way they've had, I think I'd want Kohli towards the second half of his captaincy tenure when they really started winning overseas. When I think even he was a little more matured.
Yeah.
Now he's taken it to extreme levels. He's But yes, this is the problem. Where look, we still haven't been able to answer our own question.
Exactly.
Who could be, and that is how complicated it's going to be.
Yeah.
Why? Because you said Virat Kohli, obviously, I don't think it's going to be logical for him to take the captaincy reins back.
Yeah.
Rahane, stopgap. You just dropped the guy. He's made a comeback.
Yeah.
Will he have the confidence of the entire team? I mean, he's a very respected figure in the dressing room. So Pujara's out of the equation. Jasprit Bumrah is on, off. Yeah. His injury concerns are now getting very serious.
Like they have to take a call with Jasprit Bumrah as well, right? Which formats does he have to prioritize?
I think in a World Cup year is very easy. Yeah. Probably he'll just prioritize ODIs for now. After the ODIs, you start the more challenging test tours. South Africa, then England are coming home for a 5-match series. But I think that's where the problem is.
Would you want someone like a Shreyas Iyer to take up the reins?
But again, Shreyas Iyer he was injured. But is he a certainty overseas?
Maybe
Rahul missed the bus.
Yeah.
But that again, for that you need a year of Shreyas Iyer in Test cricket. He started off well, but what did he do in the Border Gavaskar Trophy?
Yeah. Played one match, right?
Played 1 or 2 matches, barely.
Got injured.
Then got injured, moved out. Between his debut and between now, whatever matches he played, he scored 100 on debut. Followed that up with a half century.
Don't forget Bangladesh.
And then that Sri Lanka, even in Sri Lanka, even against Sri Lanka, he scored 2 very, very gritty half centuries on a raging turner. Yeah. He's undoubtedly a very good player of spin, but he has had his problems against short balls. He's had his problems against the ball moving away from him. Overseas, he's failed to deal with the bounce. So is he going to be a certainty overseas? I mean, look what you did with someone like Hanuma Vihari. You played him on all these tough tours in Australia and whatnot, and you come home and the poor guy is dropped. He played in South Africa, come to India, there's no Hanuma Vihari. So could be horses for courses, but is Shreyas Iyer a horses for courses player? Rahul missed his bus. Rishabh Pant, had he been around fit.
But what if he comes back? He's just 25.
Exactly. If he comes back, the way he's played Test cricket is the way Virat would have liked. Yeah. He's a live wire. He's a much better wicket keeper. And he's not shy to express his opinions. He is horrible with the DRS. Yeah. But he's very confident when he goes for those opinions. Yeah. So, yes. But again, look at the option that both of us have narrowed down on. We both asked the question. We've both been pondering over this. Yeah. Ever since reports came out about Rohit Sharma's future, whether he'll tour the West Indies. If he does, how long will he carry on in Test cricket? And after zoning in on the others, you're coming at Rishabh Pant, who's having to deal with an unfortunate accident. Yeah. And the good news is he's walking up the steps. Yes. So that answers your question.
Why are you not thinking bowlers? Maybe a Ravindra Jadeja.
Ravindra Jadeja.
Yeah.
What happened with the Chennai Super Kings a year back?
Yeah, but that's fine. But
I don't think he's I don't think he wants to be in the center of it all, right?
Yeah, at least in Test cricket.
Yeah. I mean, imagine...
He's also 33, 34 if I'm not wrong, right?
More than 34, 34, 35, I think. Ashwin... He could have been a good Test captain. Yeah. I mean, will he end up as the greatest Test captain he never had?
Yeah. Maybe not taking 2 DRS in Test cricket. That won't work.
That was bizarre. Yeah. What did you make of it, by the way?
He explained it. It was the first time DRS technology was being used in Tamil Nadu Premier League.
Yeah.
So he just thought maybe the umpires missed something, and if they look at it again, they might get another angle. But kudos to the umpire. He stuck to the guns, and he said it was, as in, to lay some context, Ashwin appealed for a caught behind. The batsman reviewed, the on-field umpire gave it out. And then the third umpire was consulted, and there was no edge in the ultra-edge technology, which was being used first time in TNPL. But Ashwin was not convinced. He went for the review again, and again the ultra-edge showed no edge.
I have 3 problems with that.
Yeah.
First, the on-field umpire ruled it out.
Yeah.
Second, I think the TV umpire was superb.
The on-field umpire gave it out.
Yeah, exactly. The on-field umpire gave it out, and that's why the batter reviewed it. Yes. And I thought the third umpire was superb.
Yeah.
The ball clearly grazed the pitch on all the 4 or 5 zoom-in angles zoom-in frames that he checked.
Yeah.
Ashwin, I think every bowler always thinks that they've struck gold.
It was not the first time Ashwin has done something
Ashwin double
like this in the
reviewed
IPL. In the TNPL.
Exactly. That's what I'm coming to. Ashwin double reviewed it after. Now, my point is, it's been done. Secondly, the third umpire has made his call. Third, don't you have a 15-second gap or a window to ask for the DRS? So Ashwin's DRS, the second DRS that was used for the same appeal, shouldn't it have been shot down? Would it have been shot down maybe in the IPL or maybe in an international game? He said, what's wrong with you? You can't do that. Did he do that only because it's TNPL? And who would question Ashwin in the Tamil Nadu Premier League?
Yeah, who would like how no one questions Dhoni in the IPL? Yeah. Similarly, no one can question R. Ashwin. Coming back, Raj. Back. We are talking about Rohit Sharma. Do you think captaincy was thrusted on him, at least in that test format?
But who else could you have it? I mean, obviously, when you handed over the captaincy reins, you asked first. Yeah. Nobody can force you to become a captain.
At that stage, you could have been a little more brave and
but then there was no other alternative, right? I mean, I'm assuming if Rohit Sharma was asked, he would have said yes. Look at what happened. Virat Kohli stepped down as T20 captain. He lost his ODI captaincy. Then he stepped down as test captain. Yeah. By then, before he stepped down as test captain, he missed a test match. Yeah. KL Rahul was captain. Yeah. By then, KL Rahul was sort of firmly establishing himself in the side with 100 in England. And suddenly you thought, here's the next big superstar. Or maybe the superstar that KL Rahul was supposed to be had finally arrived. Yeah. Then KL Rahul flopped. Yeah. KL Rahul was dropped from the test team subsequently. Yeah. Not for the first time. So now, KL Rahul as captain, I think that confidence is shattered a little bit. Like I said, he's kind of missed the bus. Jasprit Bumrah was given a one-off test in Birmingham, that rescheduled test match, but he hardly plays test cricket at home. Yeah. He's not been playing international cricket for a year now. So that's your problem. So you among the current lot, you look at Rohit, you look at Pujara, you look at Kohli, you look at Rahane. Outside of this current lot, who's your immediate go-to man? It's Rishabh Pant, and he's out injured. And hopefully,
at that time when they made the appointment, 2022.
Yeah, but January. even then, you weren't exactly spoiled for choice, were you? Yeah.
Because Rahane had been in form.
Exactly. Had Rahane been in form, probably he would have been interim captain. Yeah. Probably they would have looked at some other youngster to shape. And I think that was the idea behind shaping up. Probably now the way they're looking at is Rishabh Pant in Test cricket and Hardik Pandya in the two shorter formats. Yeah. But I think that whole complication, and also with Hardik Pandya not playing Test cricket. Yeah. And like you said, bowler, who again? Jadeja and Ashwin again, well past the 30s. Bumrah doesn't play often enough.
Siraj not so much experience.
No, I don't think he'd go to Siraj and
Shami has never really.
No, I mean then there's Umesh Yadav. Then I don't think that you need a certain spunk also as a leader.
Have you ever seen this vacuum, Raj? As in, when you saw MS Dhoni, when MS Dhoni was about to go, we had Virat Kohli, whom we knew was going to take over.
Not just MS Dhoni, you could go back to
Saurav
Ganguly. He stepped he stepped on controversial circumstances. You had Dravid, went to Kumble. Kumble nurtured Mahendra Singh Dhoni. Mahendra Singh Dhoni in turn nurtured Virat Kohli. I mean, look at that transition. Even when MS Dhoni stepped down, the Indian Test team was in doldrums. In 2014, and when Virat Kohli finally took charge of the test team from the start of 2015, it was a different transformation. It was, clear that this team wanted to achieve that superstardom and super domination in test cricket. So that is the problem. I think there is a vacuum, and I've never seen this kind of vacuum.
But it might be a little far-fetched, but I'm asking you this because you know why I'm asking you this. Is it Virat Kohli's fault that we don't have a potential proper vice captain or a potential successor to him? Or maybe did he
groom? Was it just MS Dhoni's credit that you had Virat Kohli? But I think the others have also failed to step up.
Yeah. Did he groom someone enough? Or
you can't groom someone out of thin air. I've seen a lot of people speculating and throwing these rocks at former captains and former coaches, wondering why you've not groomed somebody. But who do you groom? Imagine if Virat Kohli hadn't been that kind of prodigy, if he hadn't been that kind of precocious young talent, who would MS Dhoni have groomed? Yeah. And who knew that Virat Kohli would actually go on to challenge Dhoni's legacy as captain? He's done that. Obviously without winning ICC titles. But then again, you compare Dhoni the test captain versus Kohli the test captain, and there's a clear winner. Yeah. In Virat Kohli. And not a lot of people would have thought that you'd get someone bigger than Dhoni when it came to captaincy. But in all fairness, Kohli has done what Dhoni could not even get near. Again, in Dhoni's defense, he had to deal with a team that was in transition, that was in they were being peppered with retirements.
Yeah.
He took over in 2008 when Anil Kumble retired, Ganguly had retired, and then after 2 horrible tours of England and Australia, Dravid retired and Lakshman retired. Then it was Tendulkar in 2013. So all through, he had to deal with a lot of these retirements and bowlers not being informed, not finding the right pace bowlers. But it also was Virat Kohli's credit that he got the pacers right.
Yeah.
But Virat Kohli, I mean, I think he likes grooming cricketers. Maybe one point you would have thought KL Rahul was one of them. Now you seem to think Shubman Gill. Why are we not discussing Shubman Gill as a potential captaincy material? You never know, right?
Yeah.
Over the years, he could be. He has the spunk. I mean, sitting on the outside in Indian cricket, sometimes very easy to figure out that, maybe this guy has a bit of a captaincy potential in him.
Virat was 25, 26 when he took over.
Thereabout, he was in his 20s. Yes, Rohit, again.
Rohit, I don't,
he
I
didn't
don't
have
want
time.
criticism, isn't it? I don't like to see criticism about Rohit's test captaincy especially. At the last stages of the career, you got the test captaincy and then you had to produce immediate results, albeit with a number one team, the team that was all conquering, but a lot of injuries as well since the time he took up as test captain. So it's unfair to criticize Rohit, the test captain. But you know what? One more thing, one more point. I'm just going to make one more point, Raj. As in, is there a cyclone making a landfall in Noida today?
Why would you ask such an insensitive question?
No, I'm just asking because you have backed Virat Kohli. There might be a heavy rainfall here. So I'm just making it clear.
One of these days you will lose your job. The kind of things that you say on the Sledging Room. You think it's okay to get away with all these? No. You're talking about your salary last week. You're talking about...
You're bringing that up again. I thought it went under the carpet. Okay.
No, it hasn't.
Yeah.
But
what were you about to make?
Because I always talk on facts, and when it deserves criticism, it gets criticism. When it deserves backing, it defends. It gets backing. It gets defended. If it, it's factual. I mean, that's what I said. Kohli had no one to groom.
Yeah.
In a way, your question suggested that Kohli did not groom someone on purpose.
I was
Is that what you're saying?
I was asking you. I just
I
gave a disclaimer to that question also.
If I did not have you to groom,
then
would I be blamed for not grooming someone?
No, it's not like Virat played with only 10 people.
I don't want to publicly own that I groomed this character because of the bizarre things that he said.
10.
That is
you're talking
for the record, I didn't teach
this statement says you're talking as if Virat Kohli played with 10 third division cricketers. He played with the likes of Rahane. He played with the likes of
You expect him to groom Rahane?
No, he played with the likes of Pujara. He played with the likes of Rishabh, Pant, KL
Rahane was a
Rahul.
fantastic captain every time he got an opportunity.
One more thing I wanted to ask you.
He groomed Rohit.
When was the last time?
Why can't you say Virat groomed Rohit and Rohit hasn't quite delivered? What? What's so funny?
Rohit made his international debut before Virat.
Yeah, but
Virat
became a superstar. Virat became a superstar before Rohit. I mean, Rohit was winning the CB series for India when Virat was winning the Under-19 World Cup also for India.
When was the last time you saw a vice captain appointed for the test team? As in, it's been like 1 year or so, I think. After Rohit Sharma took over, has there been an appointed vice captain for the team? Like for the World Test Championship, there was none.
Yeah.
For starters, I think they can do. They can start the transition by appointing a vice captain, right?
The vice captain is also out injured.
Shubman Gill,
KL Rahul. But is this phase also, in a way, a chance for Dravid and Rohit to redeem themselves? T20 World Cup didn't happen. WTC final didn't happen. And look, to be fair, the WTC, even the second cycle of the WTC was credit to Virat and Ravi Shastri.
Yeah.
Right? Those test matches in England. And ever since Dravid came, we know. I mean, I'm not entirely blaming Dravid for the collapse. But yes, questions have to be asked about the same bowlers who stopped delivering that way.
One overseas victory under Dravid.
Exactly. Yeah. Now, I mean, if you want to take Bangladesh into account, there are three. That's the point. Is this a period of redemption? Because now you didn't do well at the T20 World Cup. You lost the WTC final by 209 runs. Now you have a few months left for the ODI World Cup. Last chance to redeem? Or do you think heads could roll after that?
I think they will wait till the World Cup. Like how Rohit Sharma's tone after the WTC final defeat, he said that I don't want this loss to affect us too much because we have a major ICC tournament at home this year. For starters, I think they could do well by reaching the final of the Asia Cup and not giving excuses there, like last time when they said that, it was just another match.
What excuses?
Rahul Dravid, you forgot that Asia Cup T20, they couldn't reach the final. And
so it was another match.
Yeah.
They won against Afghanistan. Virat scored 100. Yeah. You celebrated it. And when I said that, look, you can't discount, you got to discount that 100 there. You said, no, 100 is 100. So now you can't go back on your words. Okay.
Yeah, I think they have to be.
But is this redemption period? Do you think if Rohit doesn't win the World Cup, and when you're playing the World Cup at home, there is pressure, because I remember covering the 2011 World Cup and I keep saying I could literally see the pressure on the Indian players because of the expectations, weight of expectations. I don't think a host nation had won a World Cup final in their own backyard up until that point. Sri Lanka, yes, they were co-hosts in the 1996 World Cup, but the final was played in Pakistan.
And
India
since then, only the host nations have won the World Cup. 50 over World Cup. Yeah,
Australia in 2015, England in 2019, and now 2023. So that's why I think the pressure is going to, it's probably going to go up if not.
I think for a cricketer like Rohit, this might be the last chance, not just as a captain, but also a player. 36, how long will you continue playing?
There's another T20 World Cup next year.
T20, they have moved on, right? By resting them, by not making it official.
But Rohit hasn't retired. Virat hasn't retired. When the World Cup comes, you'll suddenly want to
play the same.
If India win the ODI World Cup, and Virat finishes with 600 runs, Rohit with 500 runs, would you be tempted to play them again at the T20 World Cup?
Ashish Nehra got his farewell in Delhi, quite a few people asked questions. You can't use a World Cup as your farewell tour. It's time means it's time. You go on a high. Why do you want to go to the 2024 World Cup, maybe lose, and end up on a disappointing note?
Hold your horses. The 2023 ODI World Cup is...
if you win, you finish on a high.
It is going to be a huge moment in Indian cricket because of the pure emotions that you felt 12 years back. And
also
now,
with what this team is capable of, right?
Yeah. What is it capable of is what we want to figure out.
Whom will you lift on your shoulders, Rohit or Virat?
Virat.
If at all you win.
Yeah.
Virat.
Easy.
Shubman
Gill and Yashasvi Jaiswal lifting Virat. Okay, we dreaming now. This is proper daytime dreaming. Daydreaming has got to stop. But we'll come back with a lot more because this is the build up. I mean, obviously the Ashes are underway. Yeah. India's season is yet to start. That next cycle of the World Test Championship, I think that's where the focus is going to be for this team. Hopefully, a lot of areas of focus in Test cricket because they have to chart out a new course. Yeah. They got to look at the way they're playing ODI cricket, and they've got to be consistent with their
team
selection, and even in the T20 format. By the way, don't forget the team selection has been a little weird. It's sometimes, Dinesh Karthik lashed out on Twitter. Tell us what did he say?
A guy like Baba Prajit, who has done so well. Indrajit, who has done so well. Yeah. He had a good Ranji season. Yeah. After that, he was not picked up for the Duleep Trophy, South Zone squad. Along with Vijay Shankar, who performed really well. He had played 6-7 matches in the Ranji Trophy, but he had a good IPL. But those two are not there. What is the consistency? And they were part of the domestic side last time. What is the consistency? If Dinesh Karthik is questioning it, people are coming out in the open and questioning it. Do we have the fifth selector yet? Do we have a chief selector? As in, these are questions we'll have for another week of Sledging Room. But you know what? Yeah. After the World Test Championship finished, it is difficult to zone back into the mishaps that happened in T20s, ODIs, recollect them, because there was so much of talking points.
I think the grudge was the fact that India have not been winning these tournaments, and I think it also reflects on the way the players talk, the way the players respond to criticism from fans and from former cricketers.
The way the
forget the media, some of them. It's just bizarre the way they respond to questions at press conferences. I remember that press conference of Virat Kohli lashed out at a journalist for suggesting that other teams, previous Indian teams, could have been better. But in our culture, we don't compare cricketers who've retired. Once they've retired, right? Virat Kohli probably now, the kind of criticism that he's going through now, I'm sure that's not going to come his way once he's retired. Yeah. Even MS Dhoni, towards the last few years of his career, people would sometimes get a little distracted with the way he would lead the team. He was booed at Lords.
Yeah, of course.
But Indian fans. And those same Indian fans, when they come to the Chepauk, they'll lead a standing ovation, I'm sure. So when cricketers have retired, we don't generally go back to them and question their failures. It's sport. You will succeed, you will fail.
Yeah.
But I think that's what kind of irked them. You got to respect your legends. We do that. Yeah. And I don't know what happens in Australian culture.
And a little bit of cribbing also has to stop.
Yeah, it has to. Yeah. Oh, why can't we play the final in March? Why can't we do this? Why can't we do that? No, you can't. When
all these Insta stories, when you are being part of, when you want to be called as part of the big four, the other three are doing extensively well.
Exactly.
You haven't done enough. You're happy with your contributions.
Okay, you stop cribbing now.
Yeah.
Before we go, you stop cribbing about your phone being taken away because it was your mistake.
Yeah.
You said, okay, Google, and then... No, because I was smarter.
Yeah.
See, that's balancing it out. But again, to our viewers, if you want to connect with us, you can always email us on pods@indiatoday.com, and you can always ping us on 8588 966 and we will try and read out all your comments. We forget to do that every time because
we'll have a separate episode.
You distract me at the start of the show with something or the other. Your sound check, spilling coffee, spilling water, throwing your phone here, there, and making controversial, bizarre, insensitive comments. Got to have a word with you about that. And if you are consuming this podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, please reach out to us, rate us, and comment, and let us know what you think about the Sledging Room because we are getting bigger. We're getting stronger.
Promise to keep bring out your comments here. Yeah?
Promise to what?
Bring out your comments here.
Never mind what he's saying. He's a little bit rattled with his comments earlier. You won't be in trouble.
I'm just saying that we'll read out their comments.
We forget to do that every time. We should. Anna keeps telling me and I keep failing to remember. But on this note, thank you so much. We will come back to you with a lot more on the Sledging Room in the next week. Till then, see you. Ta-da.